And now it's time for panel discussion and questions and answers. I would like to invite MAL representative Matti Kalliokoski here in front, and also, if I may ask Anni Torri to join him there. The floor is yours.
So maybe I start with one question, because we were discussing, or you ended with like education and these kind of things here. What do you think in quantum mechanics in Finland? Do we have nice education level already that people can start understanding, can start learning these kind of things, or are we missing something in our education? Sabrina, can you hear me?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I think that, of course, first of all, I think that there is a lot to develop still, because when it comes to, so first of all, you have to distinguish between high school education and university education. Of course, university education is something which is very well developed, and there is a very good school in quantum science and technologies. But the problem we are having at the moment is that we really need much more tools to increase the workforce, because as many companies and startups are being created, we need to train more and more people and to train them in ways which are different, because the way of the type of ideal employee that is required by a quantum company or either a startup or companies that want to become quantum ready is very multidisciplinary. Of course, you need to have a strong expertise in quantum, but you need to be able really to discuss with biophysicists, with the biologists, with medical doctors, and with people from very different backgrounds. When it comes to high schools, I think that when it comes to specific education of high school students in quantum, I think there is a lot to do. There aren't many tools existing. That's why we are developing QPlay Learn.
And question also for Anni. So, because you're now a company and you're working with, well, institute, but do you have like students and teaching, or how do you educate your workforce and yourself?
Oh, we have quite many students doing their final, not final exam, but
their thesis and all this work.
yes,
yeah.
Thesis workers, quite many, and then we have a sort of summer trainee program where we take students that are very close to doing their thesis, so they can make a project during one summer for us, and then they maybe continue with the thesis workers. And of course, for us that have been there several years, we have to try to keep up also and learn new things like machine learning. That was something that when I studied in the 90s, it was not a very hot topic.
Thank you. So, any questions from the audience? We can take it on. Okay, there's one hand.
What is the price level of the instruments you send to the space, for instance? Only, not exactly, but is this 100,000 or millions or 1,000 or 10,000?
Maybe I should ask from the FMI, because we are just providing the chips, and I can't say that they are precious, but they are unique. We are not selling them because it's not a product. I would say that it's not thousands, it's hundreds.
Any other questions? Okay, I can't see anything from the audience, but how do you actually get new kind of innovations in both? Well, actually, I can ask Sabrina first, because these quantum systems and these are quite new and it's all over the place now. So how do you can focus on what you actually pick for making quantum simulations to try to compute something? Is there some kind of field what you prefer first, or is it everything is doable, basically?
Yes, of course, there are preferred fields, and we believe that the preferred fields are quantum chemistry for quantum life sciences, and also certainly materials for studying new materials. So these are the fields that personally we believe will be the first to benefit from near-term quantum computers. But that said, then there are many more fields from finances to optimization problems that could be really for logistic and many others that could certainly benefit from an increase in the power of the type of algorithms that are used generally to solve the fundamental bottlenecks in these fields. So, I mean, there are many, but those that I mentioned, like finance and logistics, in my opinion, are those that will benefit from fully error-corrected quantum computer. So this is way, it will require much longer time. I would say perhaps something of the order of 10, 20 years, maybe 30 years. So it's hard to say.
Okay, thank you. And for Ani, I have a question of how do you actually get these new kind of sensors, all of these? Are they coming from the applications? Like people are asking, okay, we need to measure something.
Yes.
So is it starting
Yes,
from
we
that?
We have to listen to our customers. And it would be nice to just invent what we could do, but no one would buy that. So we have to ask from our customers what are their needs and what kind of applications they are measuring, and then try to find a solution.
So you showed like these measurements of weather and something like this, but do you get feedback from them? Do they give you their data, what they measure, so you can improve your devices, or how do you get this kind of? So you always collect something.
Yes.
And people, you have some people that go measuring something like at the side of the world, or how do you actually?
Oh, you mean do we do the testing on the sites? Yes, when we are improving, for instance, developing a new radio sound, we do measurement campaigns all over the world.
Okay.
We know what are the toughest places.
Yep.
We have to test those that we know that we meet the spec.
But you do it like together with academia, or you did it by yourself, or?
By ourselves.
Okay.
Because it's not public information when we are developing something new, but close to the product launch, so then we typically do some cooperation with some meteorological institutes.
Okay. For Sabrina, you didn't mention anything about like quantum sensing and device like that. Is there a big field going in there, like for the applications? Can we measure something with these devices already, or is something that is coming along with like quantum computers?
Yes, of course. As I was saying, the main field of application for quantum technologies are quantum simulation, quantum computing, quantum communication, quantum metrology, and sensing. Yes. I mean, all of them at the moment are in a phase that is a sort of exploratory. Probably quantum sensing and quantum communication might be. So in some cases, there are already commercial applications for quantum metrology and sensing, as well as for quantum communication. But they are not commercial. For example, for quantum communication, they are not commercially used in banks. For example, the cryptography example is one of them. But yes, definitely sensing and metrology is one of the pillars of quantum technologies.
Okay, thank you. Oh.
Professor Maniscalco, Finland is quite well advanced in the field of quantum computers. If we think about international perspective, is there a heavy competition internationally, or is it rather some kind of cooperation field?
Well, I think that certainly, well, it's a very good question. Recently, I was, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was in an event organized by Quantum Delta, that is the Netherlands quantum community, in which they brought together quantum physicists and generally people working in quantum technologies from the Netherlands, the Nordic countries, and the US. And the topic of this meeting was building a trusted community. And it was emphasized how important it is for the ecosystem really to grow, to create trust and collaboration among the different actors, which include, of course, the governments, but also the startups, the big companies, the universities, and so on and so forth. So certainly collaborations will be needed, but there is also a recognition of the fact that there is clearly at the moment great competition as well. As you say, Finland has a very strong expertise in quantum technologies and quantum computing, but not only quantum computing, really quantum science and technologies at large. But at the same time, there are, at the level of startups and companies, that there is certainly competition, for example, with big companies like IBM, Google, Microsoft, that are developing their own quantum computers. As a matter of fact, quantum computers with a few qubits are already available on the cloud for everyone to use, also for you. If you want, it's very simple to join the IBM quantum community and to start using your 5 quantum bits or up to 16, I think, quantum bits for free. So different companies are having different strategies. For example, Google is much more secretive. They don't say much about what they're doing. And IBM is, on the other hand, is very much focused on building a community of users around their devices. They have several publicly available.
Thank you. So to Professor Maniscalco, maybe one interesting comparison you made. You said that there's a huge engineering problem. 65 to 20 million qubits sounds like a huge challenge. But yet you also mentioned the algorithmic challenge. So of course they are intertwined, but which one is limiting us more now? Is it the engineering or is it the algorithmic one?
Thank you. This is a very good question. Well, the engineering is linked to the hardware, and the software, of course, is, so you are mentioning both the hardware and the software, which, as I was saying, they need to go hand in hand. I think at the moment, definitely, there is a bottleneck which comes from the software. But when I talk about the software, I talk about software which is able to incorporate and describe properly errors which exist at the moment in the existing devices, in the noisy devices that we have. At the same time, obviously, we need to have a more perfect and less noisy quantum hardware, and this is an engineering problem. So I think the two are going hand in hand. I know that, for example, from the roadmap of IBM, already next year there will be 120-something qubits that will be deployed, and in 2022 we will already have a 433 qubits device. If this is the case, 433 qubits are already more than sufficient to tackle problems which are impossible to solve for example, in drug development. And this means, however, that we need the algorithms that are able to incorporate or to run these devices in a skillful way, which incorporates the current effects of noise and mitigates the effect of noise.
Unfortunately, we're running out of time, so I think move on. But thank you, Sabrina, for connecting us from remotely, and thank you, Anna.